Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, agents. I'm Matty Carl, and today's Let's Talk, we are bringing you an update on the Paramedic and Police Backpacks. I reported about a few weeks ago, a few videos ago, that they were thinking about putting a fix in for both of these issues, and one of them showed up in the known issues. The Paramedic Backpack showed up in the known issues, and now I can update you on these issues right after this. Alright, agents, I'm not going to waste any more of your time because I think that wasting people's time is garbage, and I don't like to do that. So without further ado, I'm just going to move right on into the news and the update. But my sources inside Ubisoft said that they have not found a way to fix the police or paramedic backpacks without breaking a ton of other things. So for the time being, they are moving it to the back burner and putting it on a low priority shelf until they get a few things corrected. I went out yesterday with a buddy from Ubisoft QA. It's not a mystery that I have friends that work in the game industry, and he explained to me about the Paramedic Backpack and that it was the main priority because you can get 9 med packs total using the Alpha Bridge set, and the developers at Massive weren't really keen on getting this because it prolonged the time to kill in the Dark Zone, as well as making it too easy for you to survive in a lot of heroics and in the Heroic Underground, which he mentioned was not the point of what they were trying to do. So he mentioned that they were talking about capping the number of med packs that you could have, but it would interfere with the fact that if you were to use it legitly, which I laughed about because I asked him who would actually do that, and he said they have one guy inside the QA test cycle that actually goes and runs the Paramedic Backpack with an Alpha Bridge set just for kicks, and it's not very fun, but for that guy, whatever. It doesn't even matter for me. We were drinking a lot. There was a lot of drinking going on, so he was freely dishing out information to me. Most of it not really confidential, but we'll get into that anyways. He mentioned that they were talking about the cap, and I laughed, and he said it would prevent the Paramedic Backpack from what it was intended to do, so they didn't want to fix it right away. So for now, you can thank the Alpha Bridge set for keeping the Paramedic Backpack bug in place, despite the fact that it's a known issue, and it will remain under investigation probably for several weeks now until they find out what it is they're going to do with it. Now, for the police backpack, and many of you were more concerned about this than anything else, but apparently they won't change or fix this until they have come up with a significant change to the ammo system and being able to store more ammo than you currently can. He did call me an asshole for mentioning any of this stuff, as it was supposed to not be made public or anything like that, especially not on my channel. So I told him that I wouldn't divulge any more of his secrets, although he did say it wasn't really a secret since it was written down in the known issues about the Paramedic Backpack. The police issue he did call me an asshole about, and so I had to apologize and say that I wouldn't do it again, even though you get a few drinks in him and it doesn't matter what he said. He did say that they can fix the police backpack at any point, but they won't until the ammo increase solution is in place because of all the pain in the ass stuff that goes along with it, which is still being discussed on how to do it. They still haven't figured out what they're going to do about increasing it. He cited both of these bugs are low priority at the moment, and they're going to take a lot longer to fix than originally thought, so they're just going to move on from it. We did have a nice little chat over beers at the 21st Amendment Brewery in San Francisco, so big shout out to those guys. They are always so welcoming, and they do have delicious drinks for over the 21 crowd. And he did say that they are looking into a few other changes in the Dark Zone right now. He mentioned that they are looking into PvP balancing issues further, and whether or not they should raise it, lower it, or keep it the same with the damage modifier that they put in. There's a lot of internal talks as to whether or not they should change that back. They are also still looking into weapon balancing with buffs coming to some of your favorite weapons, and he wouldn't elaborate on what weapons were going to get buffed. He just said, honestly, at this point, we were a pitcher in, and so buffs to weapons is actually all I remember. He might have mentioned like MP7 or something like that, but he said that they want to make sure that the weapons that are being underutilized are given a second look on how to increase their usefulness, whether through a base perk or stat increase. He said that they aren't even looking at shotguns right now because they feel that they're not out of place, and that the only reason why they're feeling overpowered is because the five-piece Sentry and shotgun combination. Now, this will segue into our final topic, which is the Sentry gear nerf. But before I do that, he did mention there were a lot of weapons and that he wants that the developer Massive wants to make sure that all of the weapons that are horrible that people think, like especially like the burst fire weapons, that they figure out a way to get people to start using these more. And so they're probably going to increase the damage or do something to make sure that a lot of these weapons that are being underutilized are being used. So that's always a good thing. I do like weapon buffs. They're not going to buff the G36. They said that they've already done that, and they feel like right now that it's at a balanced spot where that goes. So back into my Sentry gear nerf, he mentioned Massive was discussing a nerf at some point to the Sentry, and there were builds with adjustments that came in, but at the end of the day, it wasn't going to be a big enough change to affect anything. He said that they have tiers of gear sets, which I don't even know what that means, and that while its Sentry is at the top of the gear set tier or tree or whatever it is, there are build combinations that can do just as much damage without putting marks on people's heads, and there are builds that can counter it. So he said, really, at the end of the day, you should just keep your distance from people running shotgun Sentry, and that's pretty much what they do. And before I forget and run out of time, he said that there was no mention of players getting anything but Lone Star from HVT rewards. I like to bring up a lot of dirt and crap that I hate about this game to him to see kind of where he talks about it and what he thinks about it himself. Like, there's a lot of discussion as to whether or not people inside the QA department like this game, and pretty much a lot of them do. A lot of them play it in their own time. So he said he's one of those people that does play it in their own time, so he occasionally runs with me. But anyways, before I forget, he said that it sucks. He even hates doing the HVTs. He says he stopped doing the HVTs because of the crap gear. Now, he does have to test them from time to time to make sure that they're working each week when they come up. He said in his spare time, it's just not worth it, and he confirmed that the highest percentage drops from the bosses are Lone Star, with other gear being able to drop from the boss, but Lone Star will always be the reward. So that has been, confirmed in my mind. I don't know, if he's just BSing me, but for that fact, just being able to say that while he's had a couple beers in him, that's really what it is. So that's been my time, and hopefully, since I got a new job, I'll be able to hit him up more often in the city and pump him for information. All I gotta do is put a few beers in him and get the inside scoop from the Ubisoft QA team, and maybe next time he'll bring some friends with him. But until then, drop a like on him throwing information my way that he could lose his job over. Honestly, he hates the place, and he tells me how much he hates working there, but he does love playing video games for a living, so that's why he stays. So consider subscribing to us so I can give you more awesome secondhand mutterings of a drunk QA tester who hates the Division more than any of you could ever possibly imagine, because he plays it a lot. He plays it like 8 hours a day, sometimes 13 hours a day when he's doing overtime and they have a crunch to get a new patch out. He said that the survival DLC is, and I quote him, effing going to change the game a lot. But that's all he would say, because I think he secretly loves his job and he doesn't want to give me any information that would actually cause him to lose his job. There are a lot of people around, anybody could overhear us, so hopefully nobody from the executive team is overhearing our conversations. He does get pretty loud. But anyways, for all of us here at The Division, let's talk. I'm Mountie Carl, and we'll see you, and finally the entire community, with our PS4 brothers, our Xbox brothers, and our PC brothers in the underground. Aging out.